Welcome to Channel AMAC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested in migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so as for all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Alright, some of the information required to be updated today. Now, first of all is the TSMIT, the required salary rate for all the employment sponsor visa. And also there has been a budget announced yesterday. Although there's not much of policies, but we can actually see what is really happening. And of course, the general elections coming up, there's still a lot of debates, a lot of name callings and things like that we will have to discuss in this video. Alright, first of all, let's jump in there. That's announced on the 24th of March 2025 that from 1st July this year 2025 that the skill visa income threshold will be increased, and that will be generally everybody knows about. They call it TSMIT. So that's the requirement if you found an Australian employer and who is willing to sponsor you to actually stay and work in the industry. Now they have further increased by 4.6%. Now I'm not too sure how the employer, the thing that the government of Australia is there's pros and cons. The pros is, yes, they protect all the laborers and get all the salaries and things like that. But the cons is there's a lot more pressure upon the employer. So employer is gonna spend a lot more money to actually get a skilled talent in Australia. That means more costs. So there's the pros and cons. I'm not too sure how this will actually play out. But again, they technically increase every year. Now they have increased. If you wanted to be sponsor, you gotta ensure that your annual salary will be $76,515 starting from 1st July. So people may ask, well, what happened if I already got sponsored? Then you stay with the current agreed rate. But if you want to get sponsored or nominated starting from 1st July 2025, that will be the number there. You need to have a salary rate above $76,515. Otherwise, you will not be deemed eligible to actually launch the visa accordingly. Now, for the specialist skills income threshold, it used to be, they technically only run this for a couple months, 135,000. Now they have increased that to $141,210 in order to actually meet that requirement. All right, and for the 494, it's the same, so it's not much of differences. The only thing that there will be a concession will be whether you are sponsored or nominated under the Dharma or labor agreement program. That will be a specific agreement signed between the Australian government and the actual entity or the regions. That you may want to do a little bit of search on my YouTube channel. There's a lot of information that have been talked about. All right, that's first thing. So increase of salary rates from 1st July. Now budgets, yes. Now the budget has been handed down by the Treasurer, Dr. Jim Chalmers, yesterday. Although there's not much of talks about the migration, but there's a little bit of information there. I think personally, that is just to throw it in front of all the Australian populations and just trying to win the votes because general elections coming up. Because I don't think that will actually, in the current geopolitical and global climates, don't think that would be really suitable. And also plus there's going to be Olympics in 2032. Do they have enough talents to actually build all that? Anyway, we'll see. So budget 2025 and international education. Let's just looking into the numbers, because the number doesn't really play out good. First of all, again, that's what I'm saying. They are trying to win the vote. So you understand in Australia now, for the general Australian publics, they wanted to have lesser migrants. Now that's gonna cost them a lot because they've been using migrants and international students to, go into the political debate, which is a false topic to be debated upon. You already seen a lot of report on that one, though. The Settlement Council of Australia, Property Council of Australia. There's a lot of reports showing that the migrants and the international student does not contribute to the so-called housing crisis. However, the politicians just want to play that game. I think they're gonna ultimately kill themselves. If you look at the numbers, all right, let's have a look. The net overseas migration. This is what the treasurer has mentioned yesterday. So 2025 budget on the norms. That's net overseas migration. So that's the total number of people coming into Australia less the people leaving Australia, will be 335,000 this year, 2025, 24 and 25 financial year. Now they're looking to reduce that down to 260,000 for next year. Now that's a lot of jump. Although yes, that's what the politician had planned and promised the Australian publics. But look at that. That's, if you drop that much and then further onward for 2026 and 27, because I don't know, probably the Labor government do not believe they're gonna win, so they'd rather just throwing that crap in front of the Liberal Party. So when the Liberal Peter Dutton got the go over, transit into as the next government. Now 260,000, and next year is 225,000. I don't know how that will actually work. I mean, because that counts, that including all the permanent residents positions, quotas. That's and also the temporary that's accounting the 482, the international student, the working holiday visa holders, and all the other, the postdoc exchange students or research, professions coming in and out of Australia, and they're going to restrict that down to 260,000 and 225,000 the year afterwards. I just don't know how that will actually work. Again, if we are back in 2005 or 2015, yeah, that might work. But it's 2025. We got 27 million population. I mean, the population and economy-wise compared to 10 or 20 years ago, it's a major difference. And you are playing out the immigration number that it's accounted 10 or 20 years ago's balance. That I don't think that's gonna work. So the politician, whoever the party that's gonna take the next governments, that is gonna be a huge problem, as that what they have promised the public, because that's they're gonna break that promise 100%. That's how I feel about it. So anyway, they talked about more about international education, and this is all the general stuff and things like that, so I'm not gonna budge too much about it. They basically talk good about it. We're gonna spend this money and do that and things like that. Anyway, I think someone has said the true thing, but it's also a bad thing for this person. So Peter Dutton, the opposition leader, slammed Albanese government for this as the tax cut as a bribe. There's some way he said it, but this Sky News actually positioned with better words. It's cruel hoax. Okay, I think one thing that the Peter Dutton is correct, because the number won't stack up. But we gotta understand. Peter Dutton had actually proposed a further reductions than what Labor has actually proposed. I'm not too sure how that will actually work. Again, the population compared to 10 or 20 years ago, it's not just. I don't think it works. First of all, I don't think it's gonna work. There's Olympic coming up. There's a geopolitical issue because Donald Trump is pulling out of resources and fundings from Australia, and the economy. that Australia had heavily relied on the trading partner with China is going down. It's going like crazy. I've just heard one of the trade missions from China that there's a 30% drop of whatever the number from China trading towards Australia now. 30%, that's a lot, and it's continually dropping. Now that's gonna hurt, and if the mining and mineral sector in Australia do not rely heavily on China anymore, and the migrations, international student is shrinking as well, I'm not too sure how this will actually work. Those numbers, I think that's just bluntly throwing on the tables just to win the votes. But once the election's over, let me tell you, no way they're gonna cut it, because if they cut it, they are putting themselves into a death throne that they'll never get a return ticket with. Anyway, should you have more questions, query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.